Well, here is our 2017 Mustang GT. We've owned this car for just about 4.5 years, somewhere in that range. And it's been a wonderful car, but it's gonna go. We're gonna trade this in on a different vehicle. We're going a different direction, so to speak. But I wanted to kind of memorialize this car, mostly for myself. It's not intended to be a car review by any stretch of the imagination, but having been an owner, I have thoroughly enjoyed this car. Probably the best feature, thing that really dragged me in besides the good looks, is that exhaust note. I remember being at the dealership looking at it, and the fella had gone in to get the keys so we could take it out for a test drive, and as I'm standing on the back of it, you know, he hit the remote start and it fired up, and I heard that exhaust and I thought, oh man, this thing is beautiful. It's important to give you a little context for my impressions on this automobile. First of all, you know, I was born in the mid-1950s, so I saw the original Mustang come out. I saw the original commercials on TV. You know, we were kind of a Ford family by then, so it wasn't unusual to go to a dealer and see the new cars as they rolled out. And because that was the thing to do back then. So I was always a Ford fan, always liked the Mustangs. And I can remember as a 16-year-old working in a supermarket, and somebody, this would have been 1970 probably, somebody rolled in this baby blue Mustang. Must have been a Mach 1. Not sure, but it was gorgeous. Not this blue, but that car just sticks out in my memory. In 2002, late 2002, when the SVT Terminators came out, I guess you could say that's when the midlife crisis hit. So we actually bought a 2003 Cobra SVT convertible in black with a black interior. You know, that had a manual transmission. It's the only way they came. 390 horsepower, 390 foot-pound of torque. Had the first real independent suspension in a Mustang. It was a pretty nice car, but I got to tell you, you know, it wasn't exactly the most luxurious thing by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it was a bit of a chore to drive it, you know, given what it was. But we had it for 7 years. You know, thoroughly enjoyed it. And, you know, when we sold it, you know, it worked out fine. We got about half our money back when we sold the car, so it was fine. Now this car, by comparison, is a very different beast, right? It has more horsepower than that did. I think it probably has comparable torque. This one I got with the automatic, which absolutely wanted an automatic. I love the color of this. The lightning blue was my favorite color when this was available, so I was fortunate to be able to get one. Always liked that lightning blue that they put on the SVT Lightnings back in the early 2000s, and this is the same blue that they had on those trucks. This car, very different experience, very civilized inside. It does have the independent suspension. This drives great. I fit in it nicely. It's very comfortable getting in and getting out. It drives nice. It's not rattly, you know, it's a stiff car, so to speak. You don't feel a lot of flex when you're driving it. It's great on the road, it really is, and it has great creature comforts in it. You know, it has the CarPlay, it's got climate control, it's got heat and heated and cooled seats in it. This is the premium. So like I said, you know, there's a lot to like about these cars. We never bought this as our primary daily driver, right? This was bought as a pleasure vehicle, you know, something to take on joyrides, driving when we got to dinner, things like that, and it served us well. Now, we don't drive a lot anymore. Well, we haven't for quite some time. So, you know, this car's only got 13,000 miles on it. It's in pristine condition. So, you know, it's still, surprisingly, I did an appraisal on it. getting ready to negotiate. And this car still holds over 80% of its original value of what we paid for it. So I actually went back and looked at the numbers, and the out the door price that I paid for this minus the value of the trade-in that I negotiated for the new vehicle works out to about $7,000 difference. So we've owned this car for over 4 years, and apples to oranges, it's only cost $7,000 for that period of time. Now that doesn't include gas and insurance and registration, but you take everything else in it, and I also didn't take maintenance, which hasn't been much. And if I had any complaint at all about this car, it would be that the air conditioning failed me just this last year. I guess this is somewhat of a chronic problem, so I had to have a new condenser and evaporator put in it. But I'm gonna definitely always have fond memories of this thing, and I think the new owner is gonna just absolutely love it. So there you have it. It's my 2 cents on the current Mustang GT line.